Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This episode features X-Men number 9, cover dated June 1992. This issue cost $1.25. The cover here is by Jim Lee and Scott Williams and features Wolverine battling Ghost Rider. And the story inside takes place in New Orleans. So here we have a half splash with the X-Men facing off against Ghost Rider under the surface of New Orleans, and Ghost Rider is in the middle of a transformation into a brood version of himself. So what happened in the previous part of this crossover storyline with the Ghost Rider title was, in issue 26 of Ghost Rider arrives in New Orleans. He's drawn there by the blood of those slain members of the Assassin's Guild, of which it was revealed in the previous issue of X-Men that Gambit is a part of. Something sort of supernatural, certainly not human, has been going around killing members of the Assassin's Guild. The blame is falling on the Thieves Guild, but it turns out Ghost Rider discovers that the real culprit is the Brood, who are Marvel Comics' version of aliens. From the Alien film franchise, first directed by Ridley Scott in 1979, and then the sequel Aliens by James Cameron in 1986. So Jim Lee was a fan of that Aliens film, and no doubt that was part of the reason why he decided to bring back the Brood as villains for this crossover storyline. So the way the Brood work is just like aliens. They implant an egg inside a host body, which incubates there and then transforms or transfigures the host body into a brood body. And that's how they spread. So here we have a vertical splash of the Brood Queen behind the transfigured Ghost Rider, and here we have a number of other Brood joining their brethren in order to fight the X-Men. So here we have Gambit and Donna, who was revealed to be his wife in the previous issue of X-Men, fighting against the Brood. Donna's using powers that are a surprise to Gambit. We don't quite know exactly what the extent or range of Donna's powers are, but they appear to be magical in some way. So they're not mutant powers. Here we have Jubilee improbably facing off against Ghost Rider, and of course she requires a rescue there, and Beast arrives to the rescue. And we've got this great anchor image here of Wolverine attacking the Brood. And what happens in the course of the fight is a supporting column is broken by one of the Brood, and the floor collapses. And so the X-Men wind up falling into the sewers beneath the surface of New Orleans, and they get separated in the course of that. So we have this scene here between Remy, Gambit, and his wife. She's not happy that he left her on their wedding night, and he tries to explain himself to her how, since it was their families that required that they get married, he felt he didn't have a choice, and neither did she, and so he left. Here we have Wolverine going up against Brood Ghost Rider. Pretty brutal, slashing him there with the adamantium claws. And Beast is involved in the fight as well. So Brood version of Ghost Rider is putting up quite a fight back there. And here we have Wolverine and Beast trying to figure out how they're going to put a stop to this brood Ghost Rider. Meanwhile, Cyclops has found Psylocke and helps her out of where she's fallen. And there's something going on between the two of them. Psylocke has begun flirting with Cyclops. We saw that for the first time in the previous issue of X-Men. And it's befuddling Cyclops somewhat, but then they get back to the mission. The scene switches to Jubilee, and she stumbles upon a chamber in which members of the Assassin's Guild members of the Assassin's Guild have been preserved in these weird kind of egg preservatives for future incubation. So Jubilee and Rogue free them from these sacks of preservative, and they reveal that there is a problem deeper than just their rescue, which is the children of the two guilds, the Assassin's Guild and the Thieves Guild, have been taken for processing by the Brood. So these need to be rescued. Then the scene switches to the arrival of Ghost Rider and the Brood. Cyclops hits the Ghost Rider Brood with an optic blast there. Psylocke gets involved in the fight, but Brood Ghost Rider is just too powerful to be overthrown physically. So what happens is that Belladonna and Psylocke attack the Brood Ghost Rider. Psylocke uses her telepathic powers to enter into the psyche of the Brood Ghost Rider, sees their the whole history of Ghost Rider. That's Johnny Blaze there. But at this time period, Ghost Rider's human host is Dan Ketch. She's overwhelmed by the experience, but is backed up then by Belladonna, who apparently one of her powers is that she can enter the astral plane too, and she supports Psylocke in taking on the Brood. So this is Dan Ketch there, who is under the control of the Brood. So Belladonna works a spell against the Brood, which destroys him and frees Ghost Rider. And so what happens then is the X-Men arrive, but Belladonna has so exerted herself in the battle against the Brood Astral, and the spell she cast to exorcise the Brood from Ghost Rider, that she dies. But there's no time to mourn, as these guild members reiterate the point that the children of both clans, assassins and thieves, need to be rescued. So Gambit resolves to do just exactly that. The X-Men are going to back him up, and Ghost Rider is going to come along too. So the next issue is, well, if you want to read the end of that crossover storyline, you have to pick up Ghost Rider number 27. The next issue of X-Men, number 10, is going to pick up on a storyline, a plot line that has been included in previous issues concerning Dazzler and Longshot on Mojo World. So we're finally going to get a full issue treatment of that storyline in issue number 10. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you again in the next video. Stay tuned for that.